Welcome everyone to week 7. We're at the semifinals of the Coalition League Spring Split here, and we're going to be watching Rawr Rampage versus Shadow Keepers, game 1 of best of 5 tonight. I'm Random Minion Caster, and casting alongside me is going to be Adrit Luna. How are you doing, Luna?
I'm doing good. I'm excited about this game, considering Shadowkeepers is the dark horse of the playoffs.
As am I. Yeah, Shadow Keepers beating out DOV Nightfall in the quarterfinals to make it here. That was a bit of an upset in a best of 3 here. So definitely looking forward to seeing the fight they can put up against Rampage. And the picks and bans have been completed here. Shadow Keeper is going to be on the blue side. Rawr Rampage opting to take the red side and the counter pick here. So Shadow Keepers is going to lose 2 bans with the use of E-Sub. I'm TikTok famous, also known as Carl Timon. And they will start with their bans. Thresh, Urgot, and Misfortune is going to be their bans on the side of Rawr Rampage. They're going to ban out Yasuo, Vi, Nautilus, Gangplank, and Nasus. Now, in terms of picks, Shadowkeeper is going to first pick that Echo here for El Pals. They're going to go with Lee Sin, Morgana, Caitlyn in the bot lane, and Dr. Mundo. Rampage, on the other hand, going to go with the Maokai and Rumble for their solo lanes, and Warwick in the jungle, and Lulu Varus for their bot lane duo here. So, Luna, what do you think of the picks and bans?
It's very interesting. It's not very often that we get to see Echo not in the jungle lately, considering, I mean, the meta for him at the moment is he's purely a jungler. I mean, yeah, traditionally he's known to be a mage, so he goes mid as well. It's just not something you see very often right now. Um, I also think it's kind of weird that Shadowkeepers split up the bans that they had to lose between the two phases. So I'm not sure if that really helped or if anything it might have hurt them. I'm not sure.
Yeah, it looks like
Um,
they were just hedging their bets there. Didn't want to put all their eggs into one basket. And it's game 1 of a best of 5, so we'll see if that works out for them, whether they change up their bans in the later games of the series here.
right now, it's in terms of team comps. Shadowkeepers, that's a weird comp. I mean, I'm trying to find any kind of synergy in it, and I'm not really finding anything except for like, I mean, Mundo's got like his almost perma slows if he keeps hitting his hatchet tosses. You have dark bindings from Morg, the Yordle traps from Caitlyn, and then Echo has a very unreliable stun, but he does have a stun. And then the Lee Sin's the thing that kind of throws me off in the whole comp, just because like I don't know, like they just want Lee Sin to like kick someone into like Morgana or Echo or Mundo, or just like try to kick someone out of a fight. I don't know. Their comp, it feels messy. It feels extremely messy. You
Definitely,
look at
and we know for a fact that Carl Timon, I believe, is a Vi Lee Sin main, and since Rampage banned out the Vi, they might have been baiting out that Lee Sin pick, knowing very well that Carl Timon doesn't have a huge jungle champion pool.
I see. That makes sense. And then you take a look at Rawr's team, and like that team just screams synergy. You have two different ways to make very good use of a Lulu ultimate as a form of engage instead of peel with the Maokai and the Warwick. Lulu herself has a ton of CC with her slow and her polymorph. So that sets up for Varus or Rumble ult. Lulu can help people stay alive with her ult and her shield. Warwick has self healing. I mean, we've seen how well Maokai has done almost all leagues so far, being a very popular pick right now. And then the amount of damage that both a Rumble and a Varus can put out, I mean, it I I don't know what else to say. That comp is terrifying. I would hate to play against that comp. If I saw that comp on the other side of the river from me, I'd be like, please help. Get me out of here.
Yeah, and definitely a departure from Rawr Rampage's normal style of play here. Usually they play for their lane, so synergy, not something they're particularly known for, but looks like that's what they're going for this game. And both teams are loading up onto the Rift here. We are in now for both teams here, and that Rumble skin.
Man, that's dope. You don't get to see that one very often.
No, but yeah, looking good, and looks like both teams are opting for a conservative 5-point start. Neither really going for that level 1 invade, and neither of them particularly strong at that level 1. And you're talking about the synergy on the side of Rampage here, but they are extremely magic heavy focused here, unless Varus, their only real form of AD damage here, and part of his damage is also magical. So Mundo going to be an extremely strong pick into that here. But you know, in the individual lane matchups, are there any particular lane matchups that you think would be very heavily one-sided here, Luna?
In the early game, I do give it to Shadowkeepers just because, like, Caitlyn Morg by themselves in a lane, there is a ton of synergy there. But with the rest of their team, there's little to none. Like, Shadowkeepers, they do not want to look for team fights at all because they do not have a good way of starting a fight or really like having everyone be impactful in the fight that wouldn't mess things up for them.
Yeah, so Shadowkeeper is now going to be the one, unlike usual, who's going to have to try and win their lanes here. And we have seen really good performances in the past, especially from the mid laner of Shadowkeeper's Alpels. And the jungler, I'm TikTok famous, last week in the quarterfinals was the primary playmaker in the early game. And now they've given him that early game champion in the form of Lee Sin. So hopefully we will see quite a lot of action here. If they can break the mid lane, early, they will be able to get a lot done before the grouping phase of the game here. And in the bot lane, we are seeing a lot of poke coming down from Ari Lude's previously Baby Rope Bunny. There was a bit of a name change there as well. Doing very well for herself. Able to put down a lot of poke, and I guess that's one of the advantages of running a Varus into that infamous Caitlyn Morg lane. You still have the ability to poke out despite the overwhelming range we often see coming out of Caitlyn and Morgana.
Right, the range on the Varus Q, it's one of the longest ranges in the game for just standard ability.
Yeah, so definitely we'll keep them safe. We are seeing now the junglers are paying attention to the top lane. It's going to be TikTok famous making the first move here, but we did see Prove Him Wrong waiting in the wings, and he's just going to show himself. Both sides looking here like they're just going to disengage. Neither really wants to go in for that because Maokai and Mundo, both very, very tanky champions here. Neither of them particularly damage oriented, so trying to take down a Maokai or a Mundo early is going to be a bit of a task. Instead we see pings going down into the mid lane. Looks like I'm TikTok famous looking for a gank there, and will be able to force the flash out of Finny. Won't be able to pick up a kill, but the red buff still is ticking down, will apply damage, and Finny has to be careful. He might have stepped out a little too far. We see the flash coming up, Alpals, the ignite coming down, and they will be able to pick up first blood for Alpals in the mid lane.
Yeah, that was a bit of a grief play, I feel like, from Finny. I'm not sure why he decided to step back up like that. He didn't need to. Instead, he had to burn his flash. I mean, I guess he got the flash and ignite out of Alpaz. So, and I mean, Finny's going to teleport back. He already teleported back to lane. So I guess maybe it was just to put it on even playing field.
But has to be careful that we saw the teleport go down, and right away we saw TikTok famous returning for that gank. Good play from Finny there to shade to the top side. Will be able to get himself out to safety there, but yeah, Finny, despite giving up first blood, was dominating his lane very heavily, up about a wave and a half right now, and he managed to buy himself the pair of boots there, so will be able to get a bit more movement speed, stick on Alpals that much more, and that will make Alpals' life a lot more difficult here. A melee mid lane champion into a rumble, always a very tough lane to play.
Right. I mean, even with the amount of poke that Echo can pull out with his abilities, I mean, eventually he's going to run out of mana, right? I mean, like, right now, he's roughly at 20% mana. So there's not a whole lot that he can do.
Yeah, Finny, as you said, taking huge advantage of the fact that he is resourceless there. The overheat system means that he can safely just trade abilities for damage. He doesn't lose out much in either form. And if we just take a quick look across the board here, we do see that that is the only winning lane currently. Or sorry, not the only winning lane, but one of the 2 winning lanes here for the side of Rawr. Rampage in the bot lane, Ari, Lutz, and Rookter doing a really solid job for themselves. Up in CS just by a little bit right now, and they have the wave pushing into them, so we'll be safe. But mid lane, TikTok Famous is back. They managed to land the Echo Stun. That means Finny's going to have to stand there and take it like a man for a bit. He's going to be able to turn back around and do some damage onto TikTok Famous, but at least this will give Alpals a little bit of breathing room. Prove him wrong is waiting on the wings. Going to see if they try that gank one more time. He will be able to run in if they do. And it looks like they will. We do see Alpaz coming down. He's out of mana. He's going to chase. And now Finny going to turn right around. The fear comes down. Alpaz forced them back. And that's just going to be damaged from the flamethrower. Taking down Alpaz in the mid lane. Returning the kill over. Evening up the kill score at 1-1.
That was a really good bait by Finny. I really like that bait. See, unlike the last time that he kind of stepped up for no reason, this time, prove him wrong, he was in the wings. He was waiting for the flank, and he got it.
Prove him wrong might now be overstaying here. Has have to flash himself out to safety. TikTok also going to flash out the flamethrower. Not going to be one to take him down. It's going to be Lulu Rookter take him down instead. Now Ari Lutz has shown up. They're going to put the damage down. He's going for a non-stop brain. Can he get non-stop? No, non-stop will be able to get away. Instead, they're going to turn back, pick up the first Drake of the game, the Inferno Drake, for themselves after a very risky attempted take early. And now Alpals in the area. He wants blood. He will be able to pick Finny up using the Ignite to ensure he gets the kill. Will not continue chasing. Prove him wrong. Low on mana. Rookter not the healthiest either, but Alpals just happy to take that one and walk back out.
Well, I was going to say that was a very clean play by Rampage. And then Finny decided to overstay again? Question mark? I don't know. I don't get that one. If it was me, I just would have went in my own jungle and got out of there. But, I mean...
Well, Finny gives and Finny takes away. He is the main area of focus here for both teams right now. And we do see Rookter in the bot lane, going to be the one to pick up the double kills in that last engage. And we once again see that Dark Seal purchase coming out on Rookter's Lulu.
It'll definitely be interesting to see how Rookter's Lulu do this week with someone that is more used to being in the ADC role, because we did see him pop off pretty hard. I believe it was last week, pretty early on Lulu, going, I believe it was 4-0 within like the first 10 to 15 minutes of the game.
Yeah, that game he was paired with Finny in the bot lane on his Kog'Maw there. That did not work out so well, so hopefully works out better for him this game. Mid lane, we see Alpals and Finny trading back and forth. Finny going to take a lot of damage, but is still willing to turn around and have that scrappy little plucky fight with Finny in the mid lane there. Will not really get the best of it. That scrap shield going to keep Finny nice and safe through that trade. And Finny going to continue with his lane dominance in the mid lane there. We do see pings coming out. They're just going to clear out the bot vision there. They want to continue maintaining bot lane control. Herald is available on the map, but right now it looks like neither team really focus on that. Carl Timon going to prefer to just invade and get the enemy buffs, but he was spotted on a ward going in, and we do see Finny collapsing here. Going to take the long way around, but Finny has to be careful. He's on his own right now. Deity is going to try and transition there, but TikTok Famous going to be able to just hop to a ward, get himself back out safely with the red buff stolen there.
Yeah, I feel like Finny's heart was in the right place, but I mean, it's a Lee Sin. I mean, there's not much you're going to be able to do to try to catch Lee Sin if he's got his abilities up.
Yeah, but he's going to try, and Finny's heart might have been in the right place, but his position right now might not be, depending on his goals. But no, it's a good bait again. Deity, and prove him wrong, going to be able to get in there, and they're going to collapse on Alpals. The Chrono Break not going to be able to get himself out sufficiently, will end up going down. So feeding yet another kill over, this one over to Deity this time. And now TikTok going to keep on going on to Finny. The scrap shield comes down, but will it be enough? The damage is high, but not high enough. And we do see TikTok Famous going to get the kill, flashing out, but prove him wrong is just going to run him down. That's a Warwick on the hunt. Bot lane, a fight breaking out as well. Non-stop brain barely able to get out. Managed to save both summoners though, and Louisville will just continue safely poking from range there. So good trade in the bot lane.
For sure. Definitely a lot to unpack in just a couple of minutes. Oh, that was so close to being a snipe.
Yeah, that good interrupt there. Non-stop brain surviving that barely. Will have to walk back a bit further. Doesn't want to get interrupted by yet another snipe. But we do see Alpals here waiting in the wings. The vision has been cleared out in the tri-bush, but will get spotted out by the river bush. Eri Luz and Rukter really far up though. Not sure they will be able to get to safety here as Alpals has his eyes set onto Eri Luz. The wild growth coming out with the shield will keep him safe. Deity, sorry, that's going to be Finny's teleport being used to get into the bot lane as well, and that will be sufficient to get them to safety. And we do see Prove 'em Wrong going to pick up the Herald on the other side of the map there.
And that just goes to show what I was saying at the beginning of the game. Lulu's ultimate is so versatile. You can use it to engage, you can make someone a tank, there's a lot of damage.
But if Lulu's not there, she can't save anyone, as we see Prove 'em Wrong going down in the mid lane. Was caught a little bit out of position here. Now Finny trying to make good on that, trying to turn it, but Non-Stop Brain going to show and pick that up with the binding. That's going to be a 2-0 in favor of Shadowkeepers, and the game's back even in terms of kills.
Yeah, I'm actually really curious as to why Finny decided to go with the Oblivion Orb instead of a Haunting Guise for his choice of Magic Pen.
Looks like he's just going for that straight damage perhaps early, or maybe trying to build an early Morelos to deal with Rinks on that Mundo. Rinks has shown himself to be excellent on the Maokai as a magic damage tank. Mundo filling a similar role, possibly going to look for that. And it looks like on the side of Shadowkeepers, they're not going to stick around for the Ocean Drake, which just spawned here. They will back up. They do have a ton of vision down there right now, so they will be able to see Prove 'em Wrong looking for that gank in the bot lane. Oh, but it looks like they are just going to force it. They did get the Varus ultimate onto Non-Stop Brain there. The Black Shield going to keep him safe from the Infinite Duress. So that's 2 ultimates down on the side of Rawr Rampage for a flash coming out of Non-Stop Brain. And they think that's going to be enough for them to potentially try this Dragon here. They are setting up for it, clearing up vision, but there's so much wards that Shadowkeepers will definitely be able to see if they try and start it up here. So ultimately, they're just going to back off, not going to risk this yet till they find some sort of lead or vision advantage, it looks like. So both teams set up around the Dragon right now, around the bot lane.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting to see who decides to pull the trigger and make the call first.
It looks like it's going to be Non-Stop Brain trying to pull a trigger, but he was a little too far up. The rest of the team not with him. Alpals and TikTok Famous had gone back to the mid lane, trying to match that Herald drop from Prove 'em Wrong. And so Non-Stop Brain's going to engage by himself, go down. The fight's breaking out, though. Decent Dragon kick onto Prove 'em Wrong. Doesn't quite get him under turret, so he won't be taking that much damage. Instead, it's going to be TikTok Famous out of position here. Alpal is now trying to survive here. Does Chrono Break himself back out here, but he's on to Deity, and Deity is a magic resistance tank, so Alpal is going to get the bad end of that trade there. The flash coming in will get him picked up here, and Rinks has teleported in as well. So now both top laners are in the mid lane. Will run Finny down. Finny nowhere to run. Didn't have the movement speed. So will get killed by Rinks, but Rinks is just going to walk out. He's tanky enough. Deity doesn't have enough damage. Rukter neither. So Deity... Ring's going to survive. Deity going to be 3-0 right now, and Prove 'em Wrong. Decides to just give up in the middle of the fight. Go for Dragon instead. So that will be second Drake on the side of Rampage, but Ring's going to get burnt down. Deity with the Wild Growth synergy will survive there. Just under 100 health after tanking that turret repeatedly. And once more, we see that strength off that Maokai.
Yeah, and not just the Maokai, but again, Lulu coming in clutch with the ult and the shield and all that CC to help Deity secure that kill.
Yeah, definitely seeing Mundo get killed under a turret from almost full health there. Not something you normally see, not to mention there's no healing cut yet on the side of Rawr Rampage. So that was just straight damage and persistence ignoring that turret, and that's not boding well for that top lane for Rinks. Deity now 4-0 right now, sitting pretty on a 400 gold bounty, and we also see Rukter managing to pick up a bounty for himself. Has managed to get 2 assists since he first picked up that Dark Seal, so we'll have 2 stacks on it, and we do see Alpals potentially diving Finny. We'll get a bit of a shield, but that will get popped by the turret, and he's going to take that flamethrower damage, but that was still a favorable trade from him, as Finny now down to 2/3 of his health.
Right. And now we see that Finney is, in fact, going for early on. He's got that Haunting Guys now, which the passive on it does increase his damage by, I believe it's up to a total of 10% bonus, depending on how long he stays in combat for.
Yep, 10% max damage here. So it looks like he just built the Oblivion Orb for straight damage and Magic Pen. He didn't use it. He isn't completing it for the Morellos for rings, it looks like. And we do see Daddy now roaming down from that top lane without the teleport. Just going to walk it down into the mid lane here. They don't have a Herald this time, so curious to see what he intends to do here. I'm TikTok Famous also waiting in the wings here, but it will be a 3v2 if they decide to pull this trigger. And they're just going to dive the turret, it looks like. I'm TikTok Famous has arrived, but Alpals will go down. He didn't get to chrono break himself to safety, and now TikTok Famous has to flash out his turret, going down. Doesn't have enough health to keep him alive. Will be able to turn around and pick up Prove I'm Wrong, but there was no bounty there. So he will trade his life 1 for 1 here and try and buy Rinks a bit more time in that top lane, but Rinks just going to base instead. So 1 for 1, 2 for 1, and a turret in that mid lane going to be the final tally for that trade.
Very good play by Rampage there. I really like the decision that there's like, hey, we're just going to dive in. Oh, wow. Wow, that's a lot of damage.
Yeah, Finney just going to walk from behind that turret, getting ready for the dive. We'll put the Equalizer down, and Nonstop Brain going to walk on it, potentially going to burn down there. That was suicide from Nonstop Brain, and now it's going to be Louisville left alone under that turret. There's no wave here, so Finney's going to get isolated. Rinks walked out from base. The flash coming out from Finney won't be enough. Yes, it will, because the Wild Growth is there to keep him alive from the ace in the hole for now. But Alpals doesn't want to give this up. Will keep chasing. We see the flashes being used from Rookter, Finney, and Alpals in that trade, and that will give over a kill back to Alpals. So that's going to be a 1 for 1. They did not manage to pick Louisville Gens up. They did not have the minions to do that, and Finney's positioning means that they will not get too much from that trade. Instead, it's going to be top lane. Deity picking up a lead for himself with his 5-0 and 1 scoreline. Going to take down that top lane turret.
Yeah, Deity's slowly becoming something that you don't ever want to see. You don't want to see a fed tree.
Yeah, but there's not much they can do about it. Instead, they're going to go wolf hunting there. They will manage to pick Prove 'em Wrong in the jungle, and Prove 'em Wrong walked back into the Echo Stun. Had really nowhere to go there and ended up just getting bursted. He's not very tanky, and that will give priority of Herald over to the side of Shadowkeeper. So Shadowkeeper is looking to get their first major neutral objective of the game.
Yeah, it's definitely going to help them. They're definitely hurting for gold. Almost just about 3.5k gold behind almost.
Yeah, just about 3,500, and most of that sitting in that top lane. A 2,000 plus gold lead there for Deity. So that's the bulk of their lead. In the jungle, we actually see that Prove 'em Wrong is down, but mid lane, they're just going to go for this gank again. We've seen this so many times. I'm TikTok Famous just forcing the ganks into the mid lane, trying to get Alpals, their main carry, ahead. Won't be able to find the kill, and in fact, Finney's actually up 500 gold in that mid lane, despite having died 6 times here. And we did see the Herald being dropped into the mid lane there. Shelly going to do some damage onto the turret, and that's going to try and buy Shadowkeepers a bit of time to rotate down into that dragon, the Mountain Drake. They want their first Drake of the game here. The teleport coming from Daddy to make sure they won't be able to get that easy.
Yeah, unfortunately for Shadowkeepers, Rampage, they were already setting up for Dragon. They were already in position, and Vinny was able to take down the Rip Herald pretty easily.
Yeah, they lost a bit of turret health, but not the turret, and it's going to be Nonstop Brain getting caught out of position. Going to go down to Ari Lutz, and now we see Rinks here tanking up the entire team. I'm TikTok Famous in the backline. Dragon kicks Prove 'em Wrong, but that won't be a kill. Instead, Rinks already healed up the Mundo ultimate, making him real healthy and real tanky. Going to just keep shoving in there, but there is healing cut on the side of Varus, and the fight is split now. We have Rinks, Alpals going, trying to pick up Ari Lutz, but instead, Alpals going to have to chrono break himself back out there. Can he get a kill? No, he can't. Ari Lutz positioning perfectly, spacing really well, and TikTok Famous and Louisville Gent getting forced out to the other side of the fight, and it's going to be Rinks stuck in a 1v5 now. Will go down. Alpals desperately running away as fast as he can. Looks like he will get out to safety, but that will seed Dragon over to Rawr Rampage. It's going to be I'm TikTok Famous looking for that hero play here off to the side. They have vision just out of position from the pink trinket. The vision ward there will be able to do it. Rukter taking a lot of damage there, and TikTok Famous finally sending the decent kick over, but it lands into Daddy. Daddy walking out of range, so TikTok will flash in. Can he get it? No, he can't. Prove him wrong. Manages to win the smite fight there. Good for Rampage, and now Ari Ludes really deep in there, will get hit by the Soul Shackle, stunned up, but Nonstop Brain doesn't have backup. Louisville had run away, and Nonstop Brain now going to give up his life for that. So that's going to be a 2-for-0 on the Dragon attempt there from Shadowkeepers. That's going to be third Drake for the side of Rampage, as well as the last outer turret for Shadowkeepers.
You okay there, buddy? You got to talk there for like a straight 4 minutes almost. That was like one of the longest extended fights that we've seen so far in the league. There's so much that just happened there.
Yeah, I need a Cloud Soul right now to get enough air to cost these fights. Both those teams, really great positioning from them though, dragging out that fight.
Yeah, and that just goes to show what I meant by team synergy at the beginning of the game. Because of how much synergy and versatility Rampage has, they were able to drag out that fight, get all the kills that they got, still secure the Dragon while being a level under in the terms of their jungler. Because realistically, Kyle Tyman, he should have been able to steal that, because at the time he was a level over the Warwick. So it's pretty surprising that he wasn't able to get that.
Yeah, definitely. To be fair though, the entirety of Rampage was waiting over that wall for him as soon as Kyle was there. So he was a little rushed for time, and now we do see Shadowkeepers grouped as 5. They're looking to find something, anything here. They get the flash out of Finny, and now they are Deity, but that's not who they want. Instead, Alpal is being forced out. Finny is deciding to frontline this fight. Does get the equalizer down in a choke point. It's doing tons of damage. That's going to be a double kill. TikTok Famous and Nonstop Brain going to go down right away because they were sitting on that equalizer. Now Alpal's trying to see what he can find. Louisville Gent putting out the damage in the backline there, but Rukter keeping them all topped off in terms of shields has negated a lot of damage. Deity gonna take a bunch of damage, and even for a tree, he's got to be careful. He might be a hit, but he can still go down. The Ignite coming down, but the heal, that was massive. We'll be able to turn around and pick up Alpal's instead. That's going to go over to prove him wrong. So now it's a 3-for-0 in favor of Shadowkeepers, and Shadowkeepers want to pull that trigger in a 4v5.
And meanwhile, while all that is happening, you have Ari Ludes just chilling in the bot lane getting a free turret. Wasn't even there for that fight to put out any damage. That was just the rest of their team.
Yeah, that was free damage and a ton of minions there. She is up about 40 CS on the lane opponent, so that's one of the biggest lead. But now Rukter potentially getting caught out here. Finally, the man goes down. He bought his Dark Seal and had yet to die a single time this game. And now there's only 2 Immortals left in the game. Deity still 5-0-6, hasn't died a single time. And Ari Ludes 2-0-3. Not present in most of the team fights, and that's been keeping her nice and safe.
Right. And I mean, while she hasn't been in a lot of the fights, she's been farming up, getting objectives. I mean, Varus is one of those AD carries that...
Oh no. We've got a fight going on here as I'm TikTok Famous getting a taste of that Lee syndrome, going in on Deity of all people, ends up jumping into 4. Will get bursted down, and now Rinks able to just run out there. They don't have the healing cut. Ari Ludes was mid lane trying to get the kill onto Nonstop Brain there. Almost got it, but not quite, and almost doesn't count here. So looks like everybody except for TikTok Fame is going to be able to walk out alive out of that fight. And TikTok Fame is going to be dead for the next 15 seconds. Baron is on the table, and that mid lane defense going to be on the minds of Shadowkeepers.
Yeah, TikTok, when they hit that kick, you know, at the split second when they got there, like, yeah, this is me. You must be wondering how I got here. Oh no. Oh no.
I think, yeah, his entire team was wondering how he got there, because they were running away when TikTok decided to just go into the middle of that. And he is back now, so at least we'll be able to provide that smite for objective control. And Drake, Earth Drake will be, Mountain Drake, sorry, will be coming up in the next 30 seconds or so. And that will be Soul Drake for the side of Rampage if they can get it. And with so many tanks on their team, with a Maokai with a Warwick and with Lulu able to make a pseudo tank out of anyone on that team, those resistances will be massive for them.
Right, and I mean, and they have Rumble, who's, I mean, yeah, Vinny had a really rough early game, but it got to the point to where they kept trying to gank him, and they were barely doing any damage to him.
And the Drake is up, teleports up, come down. Deity and Rings have both appeared here, and they are going hard. The tanks meet in the middle, but it looks like Shadowkeeper's going to be on the losing end of this. The Leandris Morello combination just melting Rings real early there, and that's going to be 4 people dead on the side of Shadowkeepers right away in the blink of the eye. Only TikTok Famous left alive. He's going to try going for that steal, but it's all warded up. They have full vision of it. He gets polymorphed, takes a ton of damage. If he goes in, it's guaranteed to be his death, but he's going to try anyways, jumps in, but the dragon goes down before he even arrives, and that's going to be a ace for the side of Rampage.
Yeah, I mean, you have to commend him for at least trying, because it is Soul Point. It's like, well, I mean, I kind of have to at this point, right? Might as well.
Yeah, they don't really lose much at all. His team wouldn't have been up in time for this Baron defense here. We are seeing Baron being burned down here. Already less than 50% health. That Leandris and that Blade of the Ruin King doing tons of work here. It will go down before anybody on the side of Shadowkeepers can even get close. We saw El Pels hitting up there, potentially just wanting to get some vision down. So yeah, TikTok just tried his hand, tried to stop the Soul, failed, and now Rampage gonna have Mountain Soul Drake as well as Baron buff for this next push here.
Yeah, and at this point, I'm not even sure if Shadowkeepers has an option to be able to try to come back from this. The only thing that I could think of is, at this point in time, you don't fight anyone, period, at all. You just farm what you can, you defend when you can, you try to avoid team fight. And what you want to do is you want to try to sneak the Elder. Because, I mean, they do still have a lot of damage. Morgana herself can put out a lot of damage. Kamen can put out damage. Alpaz can put out damage. They all have a lot of burst except for the Mundo. So if they do get a hold of that Elder Dragon buff, that might turn the tide.
Yeah, and Elder going to be up in just over 4 minutes here, so they just need to tide their way through this Baron buff, through that. And top lane, it looks like they're going to try and get a pick with a numbers advantage here. Deity and Rookter on their own. Rings and El Pels going in, but Deity's not taking any damage there. His heals are massive, and Rookter on the side means that he will get topped up with shields constantly. Instead, the 2 of them alone managed to zone off 4, and Ari Lutz has arrived. Varus ultimate coming down. They get the root, and that's going to be Rings going down from the healing cut. TikTok Famous soon to follow, and Non-Stop Rain gets the Soul Shackles off. Has the Zonias, but it will not be enough, and that's going to be 3 down for the side of Shadowkeepers. You said they just needed to stall 4 more minutes, attempt to sneak the Elder, but they're not going to get a chance here as Rampage gets the 3 kills. They've got their minions there, baroned up minions. They have the siege minions. They're going to go in for the base, and that was a huge chunk on Louisville Gen. Will be forced into the fountain. They're just going to keep pushing here. They have 3 sieged up, baroned up siege minions, and that's the Nyx Nexus turret going down now. The Nexus exposed here. Louisville trying to do what he can, but Ari Lutz focus keeping them in the fountain, and that's gonna be game. 28.5 minutes to game time here. Congratulations to Rawr Rampage.
Yeah, GG. Very clean game. Again, you know, we see the power that a tree can have. It's just like, people just need to learn to potentially just ban Maokai. Even if their top laner don't play it, just ban it. Take it away. Don't leave the option up.
Yeah, and that was a very solid counter pick from Rawr Rampage. They picked that in the first round of their available picks. SK opting to pick the Echo as their very, very first pick. Ended up giving the Maokai over instead to Deity, who has played it before. And as you said, people need to learn to respect that pick. They didn't even build any healing cut either on the side of Shadowkeepers. So Deity able to run Rampage all over Shadowkeepers there. And the question is, for the next game, Luna, what is Shadowkeepers going to do? They still have that 2-ban loss from using Carl Timon.
Well, like I said, like, I can understand maybe just, like, trying to see if going comfort picks would work. And for a time at the very beginning of the game, it seemed like it was going to. But I mean, if you don't have some kind of a semblance of any kind of a team synergy against Raw Rampage, you're going to have an extremely rough time. Because I mean, we've seen Raw Rampage; they can do the 5-man, they can do the 1-3-1, they can do the 4-1 split. They are extremely versatile. So if you're just playing a Frankenstein team, that's just not going to get it done for you.
Yeah, definitely will not get it done. I mean, Rampage is the quintessential win lane, win game team, and when they start picking a team composition, you gotta be careful. Shadowkeepers has shown this game, unfortunately, that they will not be able to win their lanes straight up against Rampage, even if Rampage isn't necessarily playing strictly for lane here. So, yeah, going to the next picks and bans here, we will definitely be looking for Shadowkeepers to have a more cohesive draft, a more cohesive composition for their teams. And with that, we are going to head into intermission here for a couple of minutes. Both teams going to get a short bit of break here for themselves to reset and get themselves back into game two. And with that, we'll see you all in a couple of minutes.